Welcome back to the video series on operating system concept. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss on the fundamentals of real-time operating system. So let's start. First of all, let us try to understand the concept of real-time. What do you mean by real-time? Real-time is a quantitative concept of time which is measured using a physical clock. And some examples of this real-time approach: traffic signal, real-time chatting, and multiplayer gaming. This particular concept of real time is in contrast to the qualitative concept of time. What do you mean by that? In the examples which are mentioned here, such as traffic signal, real time chatting, the quantity of time is very important rather than the quality of the time. It means the period of that particular application or the period which is mentioned for that particular application to execute is very important, but it is in contrast to the qualitative approach wherein the concepts such as before, after, or keywords such as before, after, sometime, and eventually are used in order to express the notion of quality of the time. Real time in operating systems can also be defined as the ability of the operating system to provide a required level of service in a bounded response time. It is very important to understand the meaning of bounded response time. It means there is expectation of a kind of unit of time which is assigned to that particular application, and that time should be followed, or rather that time constraint should be followed by that particular application in order to respond back. POSIX, that is Portable Operating System Interface, which was actually put forth for supporting the real-time operating system, and the standard was called as 1.0.3.1. Now, let us see how the real-time operating systems actually got invented. What were the technological advancements those happened with respect to real-time operating systems invention? So first of all, in 1960s, mainframes came in. After that, if you see down the line, after 10 years, mini computers started launching. Then the era of desktop machines, that is personal computers, came in 1980s, where the cost dropped dramatically as compared to mainframes or the mini computers. And of course, with the cost drop, the PCs started use of embedded systems. Then internet era came in, internet and mobile phones in 1990s, and after that, the internet enabled embedded appliances started growing. So these embedded devices are, as you know, now vastly outnumbering the traditional computers, because here we are going to discuss some of the popular embedded device applications. That time we will see how they are actually outnumbering the traditional computers. Number of processors which are deployed in embedded devices are about 70% of the processors which are manufactured. So this is just a tentative figure to let you understand the actual growth of the embedded devices. You can just see, you can just imagine the number of processors which are required to be installed in the embedded devices are manufactured at such a large growth. The embedded devices are a type of real-time systems. Now, why there is such a significant surge in embedded applications? The reasons are in front of you. Of course, the first very important reason: cost reduction, trained in computers, and which dramatically decrease the cost of processors as well as the memory units. Easy configuration and maintenance through internet became possible with the embedded applications. Reduction in the power consumption, of course. Why? Because embedded devices are majorly dependent on the battery usage, so it drastically decreased the use of power or the consumption of power. Reduction in size, the embedded devices, if you see, they are actually getting reduced day by day in size. So these were the basic reasons for the surge in embedded applications. And here you can see some examples which are listed, which are related to the embedded devices which are used in today's date, such as industrial robots are used in various industrial applications or industrial systems, GPS receivers, digital cameras, DVD players, wireless routers, embedded systems such as MP3 players, then set-top boxes, gaming consoles, and many more. These are just a few devices I have just tried to list out in this particular presentation. Now, After this particular slide, we are going to discuss various applications wherein the embedded devices or the embedded operating systems have been used drastically, significantly in order to give the desired result. So the first type of applications I have considered here is automotive sector. So approximately, if you see, there are 30 to 50 processors which are used per car. And those processors are actually accomplishing the following tasks, such as controlling the engine. They are responsible for ABS systems, that is automatic braking system, airbag deployment systems, windshield wiper, door locks, and entertainment, that is infotainment systems in today's cars. So these are the various applications wherein these processors are used in form of embedded devices. Very popular example can be the BMW 745i. In this particular car, if you see, you can just see the number, the line of code which is used for establishing various controls in this particular car. Such as you can see, there are 20 lakh line of codes, right? And then you can see the operating system which is used is Windows CE in BMW 745i, that is embedded compact operating system. And there are over 60 microprocessors with 53 8-bit, 11 32-bit, and 7 16-bit. So this is just an example to make you understand how the embedded operating systems are getting used in various cars, or rather in various segments of cars. The second type of application we can talk about is telecommunication application. Now here you can see the cellular system, and the cellular system with base stations. Those receive signals from mobile phones and give signal to mobile phones back. They actually make use of real-time operating system to handle SMS messages, to handle the call establishment, and keeping track of the billing cycle. So again, this is the second type of application, that is telecommunication application, where the embedded systems and the real-time operating systems are used. The third type of application, that is aerospace, wherein the computers on aircraft are actually equipped with embedded systems, which can be actually executed without pilot. The aircraft can be flight. Second, internet. And for internet, router can be a very good example of embedded device with which the best path or the optimum path can be easily found, and then the packets or the data can be forwarded to the correct destination. Multimedia applications such as video conferencing, wherein the synchronization is built up with the help of this embedded system application. Consumer electronics such as cell phones, digital cameras. So these are again few examples of embedded system applications. Now, there is one more interesting application wherein the real-time systems are effectively used, and that is defense application. And under defense application, I have taken into consideration the example of missile guidance system. Now, essentially, in this missile guidance systems, there are three major components which work in synchronization with each other. If you see from this particular image, the radar system, the command and the decision system, and the weapon firing system. So all these three subsystems in synchronization work with each other, and then they actually result into the desired outcome of this particular defense application. Such as I have just mentioned here, a weapon defense system whose job is to shoot down incoming missiles and protect the naval destroyer. So essentially the radar system detects whether the object which is seen through the radar system is hazardous, or is it going to harm the naval system. If it is so, then it passes the signal to the command and decision system. After the signals are received from the radar system, command and decision system interpret about that object, the distance of that particular object, whether it is producing any hazard, and then it sends back that particular output to the weapon firing system. And accordingly, the weapons are fired through this particular system in order to protect the naval destroyer. So this is again very interesting example wherein the real-time operating systems are used in defense applications. One more example, that today's mobile phones, which are essentially used for converting the input voice to digital using digital signal processor, converts the digital voice to signal. Those can be transmitted using code division multiple access and handle user invoked functions. So these are various examples which we are discussing with respect to the embedded system applications. One more example, computers which are embedded on board an aircraft. What exactly they do? They periodically sample with the use of sensors for sensing the velocity, the acceleration, and the altitude. The position of the aircraft with respect to X, Y, Z coordinate is computed. The deviation from the required trajectory is also computed by making use of these embedded systems which are deployed in the aircraft. Now, as I already talked about this technological advancement, we will just try to see what is again a real-time operating system with the help of some more details. I already mentioned that real-time is a quantitative concept of time which is measured using a physical clock. We started with this particular note. Real time in operating systems is nothing but again the ability of the operating system to provide a required level of service in bounded response time. Now I'm just repeating it, this particular definition, because just now we discussed all the applications in line with embedded systems and real-time operating systems. Now we can very well understand that why the bounded response time is required. It responds to inputs immediately, and that is why it is called as real time. Here, the task is completed within a specified time delay, which we already talked about. In real life situations, such as controlling traffic signal or a nuclear reactor or an aircraft, the operating system has to respond quickly. Now, what are the various components of real-time operating system because of which actually these real-time applications are functioning? So the various components of RTOS as are displayed in this particular image, such as the scheduler, function library, fast dispatch latency, user-defined data objects and classes, memory management, and symmetric multiprocessing. So in my next video lecture, we are going to touch upon the components of RTOS. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for my next video.